You ever have someone look you in the eye and make it absolutely clear you mean nothing to them? That's what my parents did on my 18th birthday. They told me I had 30 days to get out, no help, no plan, no warning. Meanwhile, my brother, their perfect golden boy, was busy crashing cars and failing classes, and still getting showered with gifts. But here's the part they never expected. Years later, they would come crawling to me for money to fund his future, and I would finally get my revenge. I grew up as the oldest of 2 siblings, but you wouldn't know it by the way my parents treated me. From the second my little brother was born, it was like a spotlight snapped onto him, and I became the stagehand no one bothered thanking. He was the miracle baby, the cherished son. I was the practice round? At first, I brushed it off. Kids compete. Parents play favorites sometimes without realizing it. That's what I told myself. But then the years passed, and the pattern hardened. Picture this. I'd bring home straight A's, not because I'm a genius, because I worked my butt off for them. My parents' reaction? A distracted, "That's nice, honey," followed immediately by something my brother did. Meanwhile, my brother, he brings home C's and D's, and suddenly the house is a parade. "School's tough, sweetheart. We're proud of you for trying. We'll get you a tutor. Let's take you out to celebrate progress." He gets into a fight at school. The teacher must have misunderstood. Kids provoked him. The world was always out to get their poor baby boy. He crashes my dad's car at 16. My mom actually hugged him while he sobbed, saying, "It's okay, we'll get it fixed. The important thing is you're safe." Me? If I spilled a cup of juice, I was somehow ruining their week. You start to internalize that. You start to feel like you're made of glass, one mistake away from shattering permanently. By high school, the favoritism was so in your face it was practically a family tradition. My brother got a brand new car on his 16th birthday, big bow on top, Instagram photos, the whole production. I wasn't even allowed to drive that same car when he wasn't using it. Meanwhile, when I needed clothes, I got literal hand-me-downs from cousins, male cousins. When I asked about getting a summer job to pay for my own things, my parents told me it was unnecessary because they had everything under control. When I wanted help with college planning, they told me to be realistic while simultaneously depositing money into a savings account for my brother's future. I wasn't the daughter, I was the backup plan, but I was patient. I worked part-time jobs all through senior year, saving what I could, determined to break out of the golden child gravitational pull. I thought if I worked hard, if I proved myself, maybe things would change. Spoiler alert, they didn't. A few weeks after I turned 18, when most parents are helping their kid file FAFSA or touring colleges, my parents sat me down at the dining table. The same place where I had eaten hundreds of meals in silence while they fussed over my brother. My mom folded her hands like she was delivering bad news gently. My dad avoided eye contact. "Sweetie," my mom started, "we think it's time you learn responsibility." Then my dad chimed in, barely masking his impatience. "You've been living under our roof long enough. You have a job. You're an adult now?" I blinked. "What are you saying?" "We're giving you 30 days to move out," my mom continued. "As adults, we all need to take care of ourselves." They said it like they were doing me a favor. I remember my hands shaking. Not from fear, from disbelief, from feeling my reality tilt. My brother peeked around the corner, grinning. And that was the moment I knew this wasn't a spontaneous decision. This wasn't about teaching me responsibility. This was about clearing space for him. He even had the nerve to ask, "So can I take her room?" My parents laughed. I wasn't a daughter. I was a room. The next 30 days were a blur of packing, humiliation, and panic. I slept on different friends' couches, feeling like a nomad in a world where everyone else had roots. When you're couch surfing, you learn to fold yourself smaller mentally and physically. Your whole life fits into bags, and suddenly you realize how much of you is tied to one bedroom in a house that never loved you. Eventually, I found a rundown apartment with a roommate I met through work. The walls were thin, the plumbing was unreliable, and the rent was a stretch. But it was mine. I worked 2 jobs, morning shifts at a cafe, evenings at a grocery store. Every dollar mattered. Every moment mattered. And during all of this, my parents still found ways to reach out, not to support me, but to guilt me. "You left your family behind. You're being dramatic. You broke your mother's heart." Meanwhile, my brother posted pictures of his new car, new gadgets, weekend trips, all funded by our parents. I watched from a distance, building my life brick by brick, while they buried themselves deeper in denial. Then, last month, my phone buzzed. "Mom," I considered ignoring it, but something told me to pick up. "Hi, sweetie," she chirped, suddenly sugary sweet in a way she hadn't been toward me in years. "We wanted to talk to you about something important." My dad got on the line too. "We were thinking," he said, "that since you're doing well on your own now, you could help contribute to your brother's college fund." Silence. Not disbelief this time, just clarity. They abandoned me at 18 so they could spoil him. I built my life from nothing. They gave him everything. And now that everything wasn't enough, they wanted my help. They wanted me to fund the prince's palace. My mom added, "It's only fair. Family supports each other." Family, funny word. Without a word, I hung up. Then I blocked their numbers, every single one. People expect revenge to be loud, explosive, dramatic, but the quietest revenge? The one where you take back your presence, your energy, your availability? That's the kind of revenge that echoes. My silence was the first real boundary I'd ever given them. And the thing about boundaries, people who benefited from you having none will always see them as an attack. Over the next few weeks, my aunt reached out. Then my cousin. Then my mother from a different number. "Why aren't you talking to your parents? They're so worried about you. Your brother needs you. You're being selfish." But they weren't calling because they loved me. They were calling because they needed something from me. Love wasn't the currency of our family. Utility was, and I finally removed myself from their economy. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I didn't explain. I simply walked away. And there's a unique kind of power in watching people realize they can no longer use you. Today I'm 22. My apartment isn't glamorous, but it's safe. My jobs aren't fancy, but they're mine. My life is mine. For the first time, I wake up without fear of disappointing anyone, without feeling like a shadow in my own story. And my brother. Let's just say college is expensive when the golden spotlight finally dims and the ATM stops dispensing unconditional funds. My parents created a world where he never had to struggle. I created a world where I could survive without them. My revenge wasn't a grand gesture. It wasn't public. It wasn't loud. It was simply this: choosing myself in a family that never chose me. And that, honestly, is enough. The day I hung up on my parents was the day I realized I wasn't powerless. I wasn't the forgotten daughter. I wasn't the spare. I was someone who had climbed out of a pit they pushed me into. Someone who had earned her life inch by inch. Someone who no longer needed their approval or their permission. And my silence became the mirror they couldn't escape. The reflection of everything they had done but never acknowledged. They wanted my money. They got my absence. That was my revenge, and it was beautiful. If this story hit close to home, drop a comment and tell me your experience with favoritism or going no contact. Like the video if you believe everyone deserves a chance to build their own life. Subscribe for more stories where justice finds its way home. And remember, sometimes walking away is the most powerful statement you'll ever make.